election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. 2024 election widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people
because
look at
it was
this.
too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight and everything.
Karoline Leavitt is an American political spokesperson and the 36th White House press secretary since January 2025. She is the youngest in history. She's a Republican from New Hampshire. She worked as an assistant press secretary in Donald Trump's first term, communications director for Representative Elise Stefanik, and the national press secretary for Trump in 2024 campaign. But she ran for Congress also in 2022, winning the GOP primary, but losing to Chris Pappas. And she is known for her combative media style and expression of, I mean, you know how she, that Dolly Girl stuff. That's what Karoline Leavitt is known for. And also, she is a prominent Generation Z Republican. She ran for office. So I'm asking, maybe did she get fired? Did Karoline Leavitt just get fired? As you know, Trump has a high recidivism rate, or is she taking a step back from her White House spokesman duties and gearing up for either to represent again for somebody that's running, or even running herself, because she does have prior experience in running for political office? So I'm saying, is Karoline Leavitt gonna run with Donald Trump Jr.? And is that why Donald Trump is showing that Trump 2028, or is Karoline Leavitt going to run with Donald Trump as her vice president? It's like all the variants are here. You just never know with these people, because like I said, they're trying to bring back the youth into this stuff, because right now it's being ran and monopolized by some old men. From what I see, old guys got the monopoly on, you know what I'm saying, politics in the United States. All around the world, all you see is a bunch of old, you know what I'm saying? All the old heads. What you think, man? Shout out everybody. Good morning. Yesterday, Karoline Leavitt said she was stepping down because she wanted to get into her kids. I think that was what they were saying, which is nothing wrong with that. But it seems so, you know what I mean? You at the height of your power. You're working in that White House for the president. Unless you're still working for the president by way of, I'm going to step down and I'm going to go and gear up for the next level of NAGA. You know what I'm saying? The youth. Donald Trump Jr. You know, they say he might be trying to make a run for it. Who knows what in this climate, what's really going on? Because Trump is trying to hold on to power, and if he see it by his peoples, that's what he'll do. He'll sit back if he really is in power. Because I'm still feeling like Trump is a puppet. I'm still feeling like he's a puppet. I don't know if he really has any real power, because he can't even beat Iran. So what does that tell you? Dude can't even get at Iran, but come on now. Still negotiating. Double tap that stream though and shut me out. Good morning. Somebody answer that question. Did Karoline Leavitt get fired, or is she getting ready for a political run?
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. The 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
There's a
and
massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are.
She got a little tongue tied on that one. Well, this is Karoline Leavitt, spokesperson for the White House, one of the youngest ever. I mean, also she's a Republican who has experience at trying to attain public office. She ran, it might have been out of her state, New Hampshire, got beat by Pappas. She stepped down yesterday at the height of her power. Is it any scandal? You usually don't retreat or give up, even because her family. She's saying it's because of her kids and stuff. Let me tell you something. Her family knew what it was when she signed on. You know, Justice Soros, she was hooked up with Trump and them since she's been a kid. She's been working for Trump. She's in her late 20s. She's been working for Trump since she's been like 18, 19 years old in some form of fashion. So her people's already knew, unless it is some kind of strain on her, like a relationship with her husband or something. Okay, I get a kid that. But she got something up her sleeve. I don't think this is just a coincidence that she just tired. She want to go home and work with her kids and do this and do that. I think Karoline Leavitt is about to gear up for something in 2028. She's going to play a big part. And the reason being is I seen a speech by Stephen Miller, and he was saying they look forward to seeing her doing big things, and because it's not over for her. She's a young lady. See, like your Marjorie Taylor Greene and what's it, Pirro, the Judge Pirro lady. See, if he was to let them go, it basically can be over for them because they have lived a storied life. But Karoline is, you know what I mean? She's a baby. You know what I mean, what's going on, Sue from the Bud Files? What's up with you? Good morning. Sue, you think Karoline gonna run for office? Karoline Claire Leavitt, the 36th White House press secretary. She came in with the Donald Trump 2.0. She's one of the his cabinet is tricky. Who y'all think gonna take her place? Who's gonna be the new Karoline Leavitt? Because she's spunky. She talk that talk too when she want to. You know how y'all young folks do. So you know what I'm saying? Who you think is it gonna be some person that's gonna lie? You're gonna know they're gonna lie, because Karoline, she probably be out there just lying, but you know she do it so smooth. I mean, I can't. What y'all think, man? Y'all think Karoline gonna run for president in 2028, at least vice president under Donald Jr.? I'm almost willing to eat my hat if it doesn't happen. Remember that saying? Smashed out like y'all, shut me out. Karoline Leavitt, is this the last that we see of her? I say she giving up.
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. The 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people
because
look at
it was
this.
too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
There's a
and
massive
wonder,
amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that, and there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case, and we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America Act, as Rachel pointed out, is a key legislative priority for this president on Capitol Hill, and he wants to see all senators and members of Congress voting in favor of the Save America Act, because it's crucially important as we move forward.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.
Make sure y'all get over there and support PBS. That's what it is. Now, would you vote for Karoline Leavitt? From what she was just talking that talk, she seemed like she was a politician ready. She ready for a congressman, senator seat, something. Just her whole vernacular and the way she carried herself says, you know what I'm saying? I am woman, hear me roar type, you know? I'm telling you, I heard a speech from Stephen Miller yesterday. Stephen Miller was like, look forward to much more to come from this Karoline Leavitt lady. And you know what? It's all in the wording. You'll hear stuff like that, then you'll see her pop up. You know what I mean? Because you know what? When they just had that what was that, Trump fair or whatever it was, Karoline Leavitt they was following Karoline Leavitt there. She was representing her state, because they said she was trying to find out where New Hampshire setup was at when she arrived with her family. Right. I'm telling y'all, we might be looking at a Donald Trump Jr. Karoline Leavitt joint, logical assessments. She probably qualified to be the vice president of the president, because she's, a politician. You know, no matter what job they feel, it's sort of like being a socialist. They're politicians. She's probably qualified to be the vice president. She might run for the vice president, secretary of state, or something. They got something big in store for Karoline. I don't see Trump just letting her go, because for one, he's probably attached to her and a grandfather. You know what I mean? It just, the dynamics don't seem like she is, set for failure, or that she's leaving with her tail tucked. You know, like some of these people that leave his regime, like Margaret Taylor Greene, she left and she was, we'll know in the next 6 months why did she really leave? Was it scandal, or was it actually she was trying to get rid of her family, which is a good, logical assessment. What's going on? Do you think so, though? You think her and Donald Trump Jr. might run? I think Karoline and Donald Trump Jr. might be running up against Kamala and Gavin Newsom, because Kamala, no matter what you say now, Kamala is the elder statesman in that situation with the Gavin Newsom situation. So I think it will be Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, which I will vote for them, and then it would be Donald Trump Jr. and Karoline Leavitt. Hey, has Donald Trump Jr. ever held any political office? Because you know what? I'm telling y'all, this is the age of the strong man. They'll elect anybody because any of us can be elected. She currently seems more concerned about raising her young family. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. She was trying to go lay back and chill with the fam. But you just never know. I'm telling you. She'll chill with the fam. and she'll do that soldier shit. She had to get back on the tour because it's in her. And I believe she ran one time. She ran young, so you know what I mean. She probably gonna get a better crack at it this time, and with a little bit more funding and a little bit more faith in her by way of the Trump administration. I'm telling you, they need all the weapons they can get in 2028, because in this climate, with them having not secured Iran, they haven't came home and made America great again. The MAGA and the Trump administration, along with the Republican Party, who was backing Donald Trump, is looking like they can't toe the line. So I would say Americans will be, you know what I mean, chomping at the bit to elect anybody that's, you know what I mean, in opposition to them. Anybody, they'll put anybody in office. That's how Donald Trump got in this time. It wasn't because he had so many voters, because so many people just didn't even vote because they didn't like nobody. And that's crazy. When you don't vote, you vote. So many people opted out of voting because they didn't want to vote for Kamala and the Democratic regime that was effing up, whether it was because of Kamala or just out of the Democratic mess. And then they didn't vote because they didn't want to vote Donald Trump in. So all the people, the MAGA people that voted for him, that made it seem like, you know, it was a trend, a fad in MAGA to make sure you vote for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, there was a lot of people that shunned both sides. So even when you don't vote, you still vote. Remember that. But I think Karoline Leavitt might be gearing up. I think she might be gearing up. If you want to drop your content in the chat, text the letters lowercase BNC and Nightbot will drop your link for those of us that are content creators. But yeah, she said she wanted to go lay back with the fam. Harris has never performed well. When involved in the primary. The only time she participated in I ran third. But now she has experience. That's besides the point. Now she has experience at the job as opposed of the campaign experience. All I say with that is she get a good campaign manager, but she has experience at the job of at the executive level. Logical. That's what I'm saying about Kamala. But this might be what about to go down. It might be Donald Trump Jr. and Karoline Leavitt. You think that's a powerhouse right there? I said if they can make it work, it's a future ski on if they win because of their youth. You know what I mean? They might be bringing in a new Republican oligarchy. Because Republicans, who's the most prominent female Republican? Let me see. It evidently it's not. It might be Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what I'm saying? Might be Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anybody in the stream know Karoline Leavitt's interaction with Tucker Carlson? Is she associated with Tucker Carlson? But I see Tucker Carlson as a maybe new strong man also in politics, although I don't adhere to entertainer types being anything in politics, no matter what, you know what I'm saying? But with all due respect, her experience isn't to her advantage, giving her backlash over the southern border. No doubt, backlash or whatever, logical, but you have to take in consideration some of that stuff was Democratic Party policy to be a team player sometimes, knowing that she was not the most all-powerful or probably not even in the top 10, being that they have that Democratic hierarchy. Nobody's elected, people are appointed. You know, the Nancy Pelosi's and all those guys. Joe Biden used to be, you know, the heavy hitters, that's really the old money, the old guard. So as anything, Kamala was just doing her job, you know, as she has done throughout her career. She has always did a job, you know. But I say she got more experience than anybody else that's been at the executive position, whether by way of vice president or even president, to hold her own. But Karoline Leavitt is the question today. I say Karoline may be gearing up. She might be on the inside. You know, from what I'm seeing, MAGA likes people that somewhat familiar with what the task at hand is, but some of them, they like them to be blind allegiance. Go ahead and do it. Just do it. You're the new chief of staff. You're the FBI. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and do it. I got you. But with this Karoline Leavitt situation, because remember, this is the White House correspondent. This is the gal that when something go down, she speak on it. You know what I mean? She's already done made her bones being the 36th White House press secretary. She done made her bones. She has only been 36 of them. Sort of like with Kamala Harris, it's only a 40-some white man that's been the vice president, and now it's 40-some white man and the color gap. And you know what I'm saying? So if she's not really seeking fame, she's seeking to add on to her portfolio, because she'll forever be in history now, even just being associated with Donald Trump. And as of now, she ain't got no spun on her name against them. They ain't beefing, and Trump ain't saying I'm firing her because incompetence. So it's leaving the door open for her at another position to see her again. You know what I'm saying? In another position. Because I think they would, where they might try to push on Erica Kirk. Now they're gonna probably push one of their own, because similarly the Erica Kirk situation probably ain't worked out. You know. So maybe push one of their own. And in my opinion, I think it might be Donald Trump Jr. and this young lady, Karoline Leavitt. By 2028, Leavitt may be ready to run for a congressional seat. I don't see her as a presidential candidate, perhaps the VP. Right, that's what I'm saying. Donald Trump Jr. as the president, going on a strongman effect, you know, still holding on to the MAGA fan base. I mean, this is Donald Jr. This is Donald's kid. He's MAGA. You know what I'm saying? And Karoline Leavitt, oh yeah, they're familiar with Karoline Leavitt. She's the one that told them all that motherfucking good shit that Trump was going to do and doing by way of the White House. Karoline Leavitt, remember? And she's experienced in the MAGA fold because she's been working with Trump since his first time around, and by way of other political people. She even ran for office before. So she know how it all go down. That's what I'm saying. It might be her and Donald Trump Jr. That's why they had that Trump 2028 hat. The joint, you know what I mean? The joint military, the joint chiefs of staff, they might be like, yeah, we'll just keep your son in it. Because I see something on Iran that says Iran, they in for the long haul. That they're not gonna, and that shit sounds like a setup too. It's almost something they might not piece up until Trump gone. What if he never leaves? And if we're at war, he can make up some excuse that he don't have to leave. You know what I'm saying? Man, Donald Trump got skeletons in his goddamn townhouse. And his son probably do too. Their life is on a microscope already. So what else can you say? Y'all already linked them to the Epstein files and everything. What else hideous shit? Remember, Donald Trump Jr. is around the same age as the people that vote really is going to count. And some of the things that he got in his closet, they probably got a skeleton standing next to him, or clone skeleton in their closet. You got to understand that. So, because they've been raised, that their life been under the microscope. So, ain't too many skeletons that ain't been released, you know. And nor do they care. Look at his daddy. They didn't like Donald Trump. What is he doing being the president again? Yeah, and Donald Trump probably don't care, because if they tell him they're going to appoint him, he is not going to care. Just like Donald Trump. We didn't vote him in. People just voted so they could check the temperature. Like I said, he was going to win anyway, because none of y'all in y'all minds had already been set that Kamala wasn't going to be the president. So, of course, it's going to be Donald Trump. You feel me? Y'all mind was already programmed that Kamala was not going to be the president. Whether you were Democratic, you was a Republican, whatever your political standpoint, your mind was already made up. Okay? Now, the thing with the Donald Trump situation is somehow your minds are already made up that Donald Trump will not be leaving office in 2028. You see how they toss it around? It's like a sitcom. When he was with Zelensky was telling him this. And Donald Trump had a grin on his face looking into the camera. It all seems like it's like a staged event. It's too much reality TV, you know. And so Donald Trump may be gonna stay in power by way of his young folks. This young Republican right here, Karoline Leavitt, and then his son, who if he can't control, he can manage. And maybe, you know how people will start one way and in the end, like Donald Trump and even Obama, you see how they had looked at when they first came in office as opposed to when they left. And that happens with all of those people that's in the executive office. They'll come in with a fresh head of hair, and when they leave, you know what I mean, head peeled. What y'all think? Can Karoline Leavitt pull it off? And shit, like hell, Trump don't care. You can see it on his face sometimes. When people be doing shit to him, Donald Trump be looking crazy. You can see it on his face. Donald Trump don't care. I'm gonna tell you what he care about is that Brad Inchke.
We've become very good friends over a fairly short period of time. I was in Saudi Arabia in May, and we are bringing back hundreds of billions of dollars into the United States, and we understand that, and they understand that. Some of the things that have been approved and are currently under construction and will be delivered to Saudi Arabia very soon, and that's for their protection. But if you look in terms of dollars, $3 billion, $533 million, $525 million, that's peanuts for you.
All that money talk. He probably got a whole loaf of bread out of them people and then came home and gave us a motherfucking slice. That right there with the Make America Great situation, going outside of the MAGA as a group and a corporation. I'm talking about MAGA as a Make America Great Again. Wow, like he just kind of all that money. What was your cut? Donald Trump. He trying to put this lady right here in power, man. Karoline Leavitt. Because I'm telling you, either she messed up or she's a security breach. It's something, or they gearing her up to get ready to run for a political office. Like you said, it may be Congress or Senate, but she already ran for Congress and Senate. She lost. So now maybe seeing, her feet, she was just testing the water. Maybe she was supposed to lose. Maybe was they saying, was she marketable? Was there any data and analytics out there that would say these women will vote for her, these men will vote for her? Does she know anything about being a political figure? You know what I'm saying? It might have been a placebo that first run. Test the waters and see if people are. Because even if you don't like Donald Trump Jr., this lady, if you like her, you'll vote for her and Donald Trump Jr. because of her. But Donald Trump Jr. will be the president. Because we trendy vote these days. Nobody really votes because how they feel. You vote on trend. You could be at the coffee shop and everybody could be talking about Karoline Leavitt, and next thing you know, you vote for Karoline Leavitt. I think I like Karoline Leavitt. No, you don't. You just sat in a conversation around 1,000 people talking about her everywhere you go, and now all of a sudden, I think I vote for Karoline Leavitt. I think I vote for Karoline Leavitt. Which I don't see nothing wrong with it. She no less, no different from any other puppet they would use, to be honest. But I say, is this her time? Are we going to see more of Karoline Leavitt on the big political stream as a candidate? Because you know what I'm saying, you already familiar with looking at her on TV as the president. See, that's what I'm trying to say. She is closely associated with the president. When the president is at the microphone, more likely she just stepped away from the podium, so she knows how it's really done. That would be her thing with being the president, because presidents, their speeches are like propaganda, and to be a master of it, that's all the best line as president has been a master of their propaganda speeches. And now in this day and age, ain't no telling what they're trying to do or where they're trying to go at with it. And Karoline Leavitt might just be the fresh face. They wasn't ready for Kamala Harris as a female president, but now they just might be ready for Karoline Leavitt. And I'm telling y'all, they'll do it. And it's probably about to go down. They'll do it. It's probably about to go down. What y'all think? You think, can Caroline pull it off? I think she might, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to give anybody a chance. Depends on what's her agenda, what she talking about. Before I just go all out with it.
So to the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. The 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive
wonder,
amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history. With respect to your first question on, remind me? Yes. Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. Patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed. He was just traveling on the road yesterday, spoke about this, and there was a very loud applause from the people in the audience, the everyday Americans, because voter ID is common sense. They want proof of citizenship in our elections, and the president feels very strongly about that. And I would just add, the American people elected overwhelmingly Republicans to lead not just this White House, but also the House and the Senate. The House did its job. The Senate needs to do its job too. With respect to your first question on, remind me? Yes. Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. His patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed. He was just traveling on the road yesterday, spoke about this, and there was a very loud applause from the people in the audience, the everyday Americans, because voter ID is common sense. They want proof of citizenship in our elections, and the president feels very strongly about that. And I would just add, the American people elected overwhelmingly Republicans to lead not just this White House, but also the House and the Senate. The House did its job. The Senate needs to do its job too. With respect to your first question on, remind me? Yes. Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. His patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed. He was just traveling on the road yesterday, spoke about this, and there was a very loud applause from the people in the audience, the everyday Americans, because voter ID is common sense. They want proof of citizenship in our elections, and the president feels very strongly about that. And I would just add, the American people elected overwhelmingly Republicans to lead not just this White House, but
Karoline Leavitt, she stepped down yesterday. And the big thing is everybody trying to figure out why. What I'm trying to figure out why. Was it, did she get fired? Did she, a security breach? Her excuse, what she said was she was stepping down to get into her kids. She did just have some babies, but you know what I mean? Not knowing and knowing. Not knowing when the baby's gonna come, but knowing when you took that job, you know what I mean? The responsibilities, you know what I mean? For 4 years at least, you knew that. Maybe it's putting a strain on her family. Maybe she gearing up for a big move. Maybe, you know what I mean? She gearing up for a big move. She already ran for public office before. Maybe she getting ready. What y'all think, man? Let me see here. Yeah, Karoline Leavitt, she been with Trump and them since what, 2020. She was around. She wasn't in that position. 2022, she ran for Congress, so she already know how it go. You run for Congress, you run for president. Same type of thing. That's why I say maybe that was a dry run. Throw her at it, see if they voted for Congress. If she could get some votes for Congress, she damn sure can get some votes for vice president. You feel me? So it's just, you never know. Because like I said, a lot of people that's leaving the Trump administration, a week or two, time will tell once they get comfortable. And whatever they're doing after Trump, they'll speak out, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and everybody else. Was it Tom Massey? Anybody that's, you know what I mean, been on the opposition side of Trump. But this young lady right here yesterday said she was stepping down at the height of her power, doing what she do. She's gonna step down. They probably got a better job for her. They got a better job for her.
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. 2024 election widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
There's a
and
massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case, and we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America Act.
You see how Karoline Leavitt can just almost seem like she got there going telling you the truth, knowing full well anything that's dealing with Donald Trump is a fiasco. But you see how comfortable she is in the position and speaking to the people. That's what, you know what I mean, what I say now is 75% of being the president, because is speaking to the people, then 25% is doing something for them. whether it's good or bad. 75% is just a bunch of talk. So she has proven that she's good at that. Look at Donald Trump. He's still talking about the Iran war, which was Operation Full Fury. So when did it end? When did Full Fury end? And we go into the Iran war. When? You feel me? When? But the topic today is this young lady, Karoline Leavitt. Did she get fired? Is she running in 2028 with Trump Jr.? Who divided America? Take your pick. Top of one of those questions. The reason I say she might be about to run for office, because there ain't too much dirt out there on her right now. Like, she ain't doing nothing wrong as of late that we know of. Because she just this speech right here that White House dropped, she was still doing her job right before she stepped down. Now, I think that speech was in June. But still, no signs of fatigue, no backroom brawls, no beefs with any other Republican or MAGA representatives. It's strange, but I understand when she said she's gonna step down to take care of her family. But it's still kind of strange at the height of Donald Trump's. You know what? Donald Trump, the person who take over for Donald Trump now, is gonna be a military style dude. Straight and to the point. Either it's going to be a military style dude or it's going to be Janet Pirro, who takes over Karoline Leavitt's job. Watch, it's going to be a military style dude, somebody that's going to be straight and to the point. No, the president is watch this shit. It's going to be a military style dude they about to put up there. All this shit is theatrics, man. The next person that take Karoline Leavitt's job, I'm telling you, is going to, because this stuff. To be the representative for the White House, you're privy to a lot of secrets. And Donald Trump right now, he remodifying the White House on some military type of time, because nobody is just so adamant about a ballroom. You can go rent out the Hyatt or one of them joints if you really want to hit the ballroom. You can't dance. You know what I mean? So that should tell you something. It's a military move. The next secretary the one that speaks for the White House, it's gonna be either that lady Janet Pirro, because I heard her and Trump was beefing. Maybe Karoline's leaving. I'll give you that job now. You know what I mean? Because that lady old, she don't need to be doing too much. I don't even know what's her position. But the next White House press secretary, because we are at war, is gonna be a military style person. It's going to be somebody with a military background, watch. In my opinion. What's going on? Double tap that stream. The next guy that takes this lady's job is going to be a military style, you know what I'm saying? Chilling. What's up, Bart? What you think about this? You think this lady right here can you think she can run for president and win? Karoline Leavitt. You know she stepped down. Thank Karoline Leavitt. What you think about Karoline? If she wins, they still want to step down as the spokesman for the White House. I'm chilling though. What's going on with you, Bart? Would you vote for Karoline? Okay. You say she'll be more interested in Kamala. Okay. So would you say that because you think she probably is more younger and pleasing to the eye than Kamala? Because she seemed like she can be a powerhouse in the future because, like I say, she didn't leave the Trump administration with her tail tucked. That wasn't the first excuse. I mean, but maybe if she write a book, she'll tell it all or why she left. But for now, she's leaving like, yo, I'm about to go raise my kids. But I think she's gearing up for the race. Some race. And if it's president, I think she'll be running with Donald Trump Jr. Okay, so Snow Bunny in the White House sound like a good idea. I mean, it is what it is. It might be time because guess what? When they put somebody in the White House, most of the stuff is propaganda. Like when they had Barack in the White House, seeming that's why everybody, what do you do for black people? Y'all had a black president. Barack was the image of a black person, but he was white on paper and he was for the LGBTQ. But this young lady right here might be trying to quiet down the masses and the majority, because no matter what you say, the majority is always what matters, and every rule, law broken and amended is geared toward the majority. The minorities never get anything. They're just collateral damage in whatever happens. Hey Bart, what you think about a couple of the millions of dollars they spending on shock gloves so that the ice can shock people? This shit getting space age, ain't it? They give the police 38s against people with M16s and calicos, and they go and give these guys ice shock gloves. When the last time have they upgraded the National Guard? What's the National Guard equipment looking like? Or the military, that they would have shock gloves? Is that something that the military already invented? I would think that who would need shock gloves? Like, unless they're going to be controlling crowds, a bunch of shock gloves. It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. We got to be aware of these things. We so busy waiting on the new Google phone and iPhone to update our iOS stuff. We're not looking at the other end of the evil technology that's out here. ICE is spending money on shock gloves, and school about to come around, and I don't see no government subsidies being sprinkled out. I see a bunch of grassroots efforts to fill the school bus up. Let's get some book bags. You know what I'm saying? And do this and that on a citywide level, communities. But I don't see no push from the government to, if school's about to start, let's make sure these kids got a head start. I see, let's get ICE these shock gloves. Huh? Why are they going to, if ICE is ramping up and they doing a good job at it and the borders are secure, why do they need even more? I mean, that's crazy. Why? Yeah, $20-some million on some shock gloves. That says a lot about what's going on right now. It was an earthquake in Colombia. You know that they just got a new president. Gamer, what's going on? I don't think she looks weird. Why you say she got a term? But what about her politics? You think she will be a good vice president? Gamer, ain't you in Germany, man? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? What's going on with you? Shot gloves have been used downrange in Afghanistan for a while as a way to get the individuals in the country with little resistance. Right, but that's in Afghanistan. We're talking about in America. Oh yeah, where you at right now? You was in Ramstein last year. That shot glove is crazy. Es spricht sich Deutsch. Es geht unter 9. You say the streets is like Afghanistan. Salute for that badge. I speak German. Fine. And you, uncle? I'm Guten. I'm Guten. I'm Guten. Salute. That's what it is, Bart. The Deutsch. Respect. You got to be international when you're talking that geopolitics. You say the streets are like Afghanistan. Wow. But what y'all think? Did this lady mess up? From what y'all heard, you heard anything about this? Did this lady mess up? Or what? Or I say she giving up because she already tried to run for Congress. I say now she may be gonna link up with Donald Trump Jr. and told the line she gonna represent the Republicans and Donald Trump Jr. will represent the MAGA, the Trump cartel, and still get money. They bought it because I seen Stephen Miller make a speech after she say what she was gonna do at 1-2 and leave. Anytime law enforcement enforce the law, streets go crazy. Nah, I'm gonna tell you something, Bart. In America, when they enforce the law, the streets don't go crazy because most people that's in the streets abide by the law. You know what I'm saying? They walk that fine line and they are aware of the police presence when they're there. But in like those, like ICE ain't the police though. ICE ain't law enforcement per se. You know what I mean? Conventional. ICE is like a group of people created to hunt down another group of people, in my opinion, you know. You say, I don't like Leavitt policies, but she isn't a leader type. What's some of her policies? I see her as a baby MAGA. And what's the leader type? What's your leader type, gamer? And okay, Bart, and what does that mean? We're not talking about most people talking further expound on that. I'm telling y'all, when y'all see this lady geared up, don't say I ain't tell you. Double tap that stream. A Führer. Nah, you ain't. Because Führer don't mean but just father, right? A leader. Trump might have y'all calling him the Führer.
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. 2024 election widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case, and we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America Act, as Rachel pointed out, is a key legislative priority for this president on Capitol Hill.
See how smooth she talk? She damn near baby Donald Trump with that conversation. I'm telling you. Yeah, she many MAGA. Yeah, got a bad rep in Germany, but y'all know what? You know what was marketed? Hitler's vernacular, because everybody that come in here said, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. Hitler, Goebbels, Himmler, that was some of the main things that they said. It's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. So everybody that comes in this chat stream know, just like MAGA was used by the KKK, it's the Jews also was used by y'all villainized Führer, Von Kef, Adolf Hitler. That it's the Jews. Everybody come. I say, well, it's not cool to promote Adolf Hitler per se, him as a person, but it's so it's cool to adhere to his doctrine that it's the Jews. You see what I'm saying? Bart, if it's a weapon against AOC, don't you think she's gonna have to run? AOC ain't nobody, man. I'm telling you, like on the political scene, and for the people that she's gonna need to get her in office, they won't elect AOC. She's no less a baby Kamala. This ain't got nothing with to do with you say all racism is scapegoating. Okay. But yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with AOC. Because AOC, the people that she's gonna need, they're not gonna vote for AOC. Shit. AOC is political entertainment. She Bernie Sanders' sidekick. You see how they take Bernie Sanders for a joke? She's the future Bernie Sanders. She's going to be an old democratic socialist. You know what I mean? She'll always have that. You know what I mean? But when the progressive socialists step in, they're not going to take her with them. They're going to keep her as the voice for the democratic socialists. The progressive socialists are the ones that are going to transform into communists, in my opinion. But Karoline Leavitt, she young. She under 30 years old. She got a crazy time span for politics. And at this point right now, the face of America has to be fresh and young, because anything else will look antique-ish, and like we're going to like the fall of the empire. You know what I'm saying? Why you say she gonna waste their money? She take their money too, but she just ain't getting enough of it because she ain't star quality yet. She's still political entertainment. She taking the same money they taking, fam. I don't know why y'all think that any of these politicians are good. Barack, AOC, any Republican you think of, when they reach the level of the Senate and the Congress, they are been far in on taking kickbacks and, I mean, government subsidies. So, I mean, what's up? Right, for everybody that's moving there, right? Look, we thought that Mamdani was gonna be the kingmaker. He ain't no kingmaker. He like the test study to see if democratic socialism will be accepted on a wide scale in America because he's in New York. New York got all kind of people from all over the world. So it's just like seeing how different kind of people react to democratic socialism, you know? And New York got people from the lowest level to the people that live on the streets to the people that live in the billion-dollar buildings. All of them lie. All of them lie. This lady here, Karoline Leavitt, she's one of the biggest liars because she's telling a bunch of Donald Trump lies. She ain't even telling her own lies. She co-signing Donald Trump lies. Well, New York, Washington, D.C., any of that, if you're a citizen in America, I say if you're an American citizen, you should get to Washington, D.C., you know what I'm saying, at least one time in your lifetime. Black Money Corp, Washington, D.C., the Capitol building, the Washington Monument in my background. I'm cooling on the National Mall. See, a lot of people out here. I just made the walk up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, checked out the statue, ready to get his Gettysburg Address. I think yesterday Al Sharpton was having a big rally over here for the August 28th commemorative of the Martin Luther King speech. But yeah, the National Mall. I think everybody that's an American should get to Washington, D.C. at least one time in their lifetime. You know, see where it all goes down at. It might change your perspective. They got a lot of cool museums and different kind of American memorabilia there too. Shit is dope. But Karoline, y'all think Karoline might be ready to get there gone? Get her boots and get to walking up them stairs. I think she might be, them boots is made for walking. I think she about to make a run for it. Run for the border. Yeah, DC is dope. Bart, it's been white pink toes in the White House since the White House was brown. You know what I'm saying? Believe it. It's been puppet toes running through the White House since the White House was brown. You feel me? Yeah, it's true, gamer. And a black Freemason who did the streets and surveyed the land by the name of Benjamin Banneker. Do your research on Benjamin Banneker. He had an almanac. He had made a clock. He had, you know what I'm saying? He did a bunch of experiments. He sound familiar, don't he? I always say, I might be spelling Benjamin shit wrong. If I have no disrespect. But yeah, Benjamin Banneker, he trying to come. I dropped the link. I'm gonna drop the link too, man, in case somebody wanted to come up and chop it up. Let's drop the link. Philadelphia, all right. It's been 10 pink toes down in the White House since the White House been brown, fam. I dropped the link to y'all in case one of y'all wanted to come up here and politics. It's all good. Philadelphia, all right, but it's a tough town. Philadelphia is sort of like New York. They got their differences, I mean, but it's a tough town. And especially if you're Islamophobic, don't go to Philadelphia because it's like a free territory. It's every religion besides Christianity in a Protestant form. There's a lot of Ethiopian Anglican churches and a lot of black people with big beards and white people with big beards and stuff because it's mildly Islamic. I mean, it's some history in Philadelphia too. Masons also built what we know as Philadelphia, but just like the District of DC and even New York City, those cities was already there before any Freemason ever took a compass to a street there. I mean, used to rule, to grade out a level, some goddamn sewage. Those places had been there before. The Lenape Indians were big from what we call the Pennsylvania area down to what we call this district, and also the Seneca Indians, Black Indians in New York. You know, New York first started around Manhattan by way of the Dutch, New Amsterdam, and the British took it from the Dutch and named it New York. Did y'all know that New York used to be called New Amsterdam because the Netherlands, the Dutch, the original systematic slave corporation had a hold of it, and then the English took it and named it New York. Karoline Leavitt, did she get fired or did she get a promotion? Did they tell her, get ready, we about to put some bread on you? Right. Did they tell Karoline, get ready, we about to put some bread on you, get right or what, y'all? She done ran for Congress. So she know how it go. Double tap that stream, fam. What's going on with you? It's Karoline Leavitt giving up to run for at least vice president under Donald Trump Jr. because he done made a lot of bread. You know what I'm saying? And imagine the unrealized gains on that bread. Let's give it 4 years. He's been making bread for 4 years. You know, usually when people go endeavor in these things, in 4 years, that's the unrealized gains are starting to happen. So now if he's worth 20 billion, in 4 years, it's going to be 80 billion. You feel me? And you know what I mean? And then he'll be taking that. See, that's what you got to see. They setting Donald Trump Jr. up for success because his dad, you know, is getting old. He's old, 80 years old. So the only time will tell, heaven to hell. You feel me? But Donald Trump Jr. seemingly because his youth might be who they trying to, you know what I mean, latch the remaining MAGA people, because a lot of people that say MAGA, they don't put Trump down. A lot of MAGA supporters don't put him down. So Donald Trump Jr. and this lady right here, Karoline Leavitt, she might be the face of MAGA 2028. I believe so. They had her running for Congress, and that may be just to get the data and analytics for her to see, you know what I mean, was it some out there that will vote for her? Okay. A loss sometimes ain't a loss. A loss may be just a recon. I'm gonna throw a piece of shrimp out there, see if they nip off that. Nah, I go to a hot dog, catch a flounder. You feel me? But you got to know politics. For every move, this move has been carefully calculated. So, because out of the blue, it hasn't been like she been messing up. Has she been messing up? I mean, has Karoline Leavitt been messing up? Seeming like she been staying down. She stay down, and she been with the regime since a youngin'. So she one of them, no doubt. She probably look at Trump and everybody there as her family, because I have not one time heard her buck on Donald Trump. She's looking at it like the mafia type of situation. She might be part of the regime, like deep in there, like the young. They might be telling her, "Look, We got a position for you because I can't see them bringing in the Erica Kirks. What was her? Was she cool with Erica Kirk? Is this young lady right here cool with Erica Kirk? Salute. Yeah, Benjamin Banneker, man. That's who designed Washington, D.C. after Lafayette, the Marquis Lafayette. You know, he had to hightail it out of there for some odd reason. But, you know, if you really get down to the Revolutionary War, it was some quirky people that came over here and helped us win the war, but we never really hear about them. Like, have you ever did any research on von Steuben? The Baden, von Steuben. He was a Hessian soldier who came over here and landed his expertise in getting our army up the par for the Revolutionary War. The Minutemen, he got them stepping and marching, and you know what I mean, because if you can't work together, you ain't gonna be able to win the war. And he was kind of like the glue, but he had a lot of stuff in his background, so they say. But von Steuben, Lafayette, there's a lot of them, man. Other than George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and all those cats, man. So there's a lot of people that, I mean, okay. You ain't never heard of von Steuben? I'm gonna get the correct name right now. You know, history, that's my shit. There we go. Frederick Wilhelm von Steuben did his thing for America. I'm gonna drop his Wikipedia in here. It's some good information. It's, I mean, we always think that it was just George Washington and them. Nah. This is name. This is Wikipedia. Shout out everybody coming through, man. What y'all think? Karoline Leavitt. I'm telling you. And if y'all know anything about what Prussia was back in the day, Prussia was like a mercenary group. Prussia is Germany. Germany has their origin in Prussia. It was started by the Teutonic Knights, the people that used to be, you know what I mean, like religious mercenaries. And they managed to get a foothold in what we call Germany now. And that's what Germans have their bases in, the Teutonic Knights. But by the time of the Revolutionary War, they was Prussian. This guy here, Frederick Wilhelm von Steuben, that's his Wikipedia for all y'all history buffs. Along with, let me drop Benjamin Banneker. I just dropped his name. But Benjamin Banneker also, I don't know if he really fought in the war, because I know after the war he was instrumental in the Washington D.C. situation. I don't know how old he was in the war. But yeah, also like Benjamin Banneker, people we never hear about, Crispus Attucks. This Benjamin Banneker on Wikipedia, y'all. Go check out Benjamin Banneker. Shout out everybody coming through. What's going on? How's your day, man? But Benjamin Banneker, it was a a black inventor, surveyor. He had to be a Mason because he was free, and he had the knowledge of the compass and the rule. And back then it was coveted. You know what I mean? That was to be educated. You know that George Washington was a surveyor. So he probably learned surveying from being educated, or maybe from his experience in the British Army. Y'all do realize that, right? George Washington, he was a member of the British, Army in America. He had some rank too. But yeah, check on Benjamin Banneker, von Steuben. You know, we so busy, we get indoctrinated into our history instead of, doing the research ourselves. So I just dropped 2 more y'all that are interested. I dropped the link too, fam. Hit that link. You come up here, let me see what's going on. Y'all think she about to take up the fight for Donald Trump? For the El Sayed guy?
Abdul El Sayed. Can you believe this? This could only happen to me. Abdul El Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate. And now he's going around saying, no, I love everybody. He doesn't love everybody. Put him in office. You're going to find out what he loves. He doesn't love Israel. He doesn't love Jewish people. He hates them. He hates them with a passion that burns in his heart and is.
I want to know what Trump meant by put him in office. You'll see what he loves. And that's crazy. That's crazy. But do you think this young lady can toe the line for Donald Trump?
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country.
See how she already talks like a politician? She knows what she's doing. Why? Why you say this? Are you trying to say Trump might be the last person in office? You say Trump might be the last person in office? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what it's going to take to be president. You got to be able to stand there and just lie. And she's showing improvement right there. You just got to be able to stand there and tell her a lie. That's a good politician. It ain't all that AOC, I'm trying to be this, I'm trying to be that. You got to be able to sit there and run that game. And she got what it takes. I think she do. She already experienced at its highest level. Her name, see, her face is already familiar. Her name is already known. and with the endorsement of whoever, because some people do practice taking the workforce from inside the workforce, like when people get stepped up, because that's all Donald Trump, and they're at the executive position. He is not the most powerful person in the country. He is not the most powerful person in the world. It's a job. After the 4 years, you go back to being, Tom, Dick, or Harry, depending on, what the people perceive you as when you left. So, it's crazy that this might be the face of Republican politics. It's about time, right? Republicans, they slick. It's not, they don't give you what they want. They give you what seemingly data and analytics tell them that you need. You need to be controlled. You need to be pacified. You know what I'm saying? You need to be cooled off. The temperature's too hot right now, and especially with the Iran war flip-flop. There was supposed to be no new wars, okay? A good foul. Trump stood on it. He said he didn't promise it. And y'all not knowing that he's, fulfilling whatever he got placed in office to do. But with that, to toe the line, you have to have other people complacent and willing to continue, because it's not over. Y'all know that. They say, Iran said they might not settle this shit until this shit go down, until Trump ain't in office no more. So that's fueling him almost to get kicked out. If people are really not about this war shit, that's fueling Trump to get, if you're really not about this war shit right now, and Iran says they'll stop the war when Trump gone, do you see the implications to American society? Some Americans might look at it as, okay, as soon as we get Trump gone and replaced, and maybe even replace him with whoever's throwing their hat in the ring, not even looking, just, looking for change, this might not end well. You feel me? Just to get Trump out. That's what happened too. That happened with that's how Trump got back in office. Y'all didn't want Kamala, and the other half didn't want no Democrats because of the Democratic regime policies for the last, we'll say, 8 years. So y'all resorted back to Trump. It's logical, but it's illogical too. Like, y'all was looking for anybody, and Trump just so happened to springboard off of the the Republican. He springboard off the Democrats too, and it's crazy. We can start where he did springboard off the Democrats. Let's read the polls so far, man. We can read the polls. Trump approved 33%. So far, disapproved 56%, 50-50, 11%. Nobody chose bring back Obama. That's what it is. Make sure y'all participate and take the poll as you come in. I got the link dropped. If you wanted to come up here and give you 1, 2, it's cool. We're discussing Karoline Leavitt. What was her decision to step down? She said she was going to get with her kids, which I understand it. Maybe she's giving up for a run. In my opinion, I think she's giving up for a run. Political run that maybe, if not Congress, or if not the presidential, the executive office by way of president. I don't see another politician that has enough momentum right now that we trust in. So it's going to have to be some tomfoolery and trickery to make the next president the next president. So I'm saying, I think it might be Donald Trump Jr. The reason why Donald Trump showed that Trump 2028 hat, and this young lady, Karoline Leavitt. Like I said, when you listen to her speak, already she's talking like a politician. She can tell a good lie. She already is talking to you like the president because she's the spokeswoman for the president. So she already knows whether it's a setup. She's subject to have wrote the speech. Y'all know that, right? She's subject to be his speechwriter also. The same things that she says, Trump will have to come out and regurgitate it. And she's the lady that co-signs it. She's the co-signer. So that's what we're not looking at. What's her position in the corporation? She might be the speechwriter. Y'all know, just like in music, there's an artist, maybe he's been out 5 or 6 years, and a new talent that comes up and he's promoting them. Maybe that might be his ghostwriter, giving it a chance that, okay, me with my face card, I have made this music that this guy has created. famous. Let's try it out if he actually just displays his own and see if they can tell or it doesn't have the same effect. You feel me? That's what happens. She might be Trump's protege. She can write the speech. She know how to captivate. Now let's see if she can, seal the deal and take over the helm. I'm telling y'all, it's a secret society. All they ask is trust. You know what I'm saying? You got they're gonna be aware of what's going on. I say Karoline Leavitt might be gearing up. Because I'm telling you, okay, I go for when she says she might want to go and raise her kids. But when she took office, she knew then that she was not going to be able to take care of her kids, right? She knew back then that she wasn't going to be able to take care of her kids because she's going to be doing her job. And when she go home, she's not going to take care of kids. She's going to get ready. She's going to be doing a lot of photo ops. She's probably talking to a glam squad that even enhance who she is, and a lot of speech orientation, which she's good at orientation because that's her job right now. Where she's stepping down from it. You know, and she's stepping down with credentials under her belt as a young lady. She's the youngest person ever to hold that position. Karoline Claire Leavitt is an American political spokesperson, in the 360th White House press secretary, the youngest in U.S. history, a Republican from New Hampshire. She worked as an assistant press secretary in Donald Trump's first term, communication director of Representative Elise Stefanik, and national press secretary for Trump's. She was the national press secretary, so she been knowing what's going on, fam. This young lady is Illuminati. And maybe they might want her to be is she going to have a prominent position in government right now? Maybe they might want her as the governor of New Hampshire, congressman, or senator. I'll go for it, but I see the bigger picture. I think they might be priming her for the White House vice president, to offset Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. Because AOC and Bernie Sanders, they seem so cookie cutter. And with the climate not so cool for Mamdani right now, because y'all know Mamdani, everybody was saying he was a kingmaker. Even me, I was saying Mamdani was the kingmaker and this and that, right? But come to find out, Mamdani ain't no kingmaker. He's just coffee that was made. They put him in the grinder. And he's an experiment. If it works in New York, it'll work anywhere else. And the reason they gave him, because he's a Democratic socialist, but he has no power to run and be the president. So all we can do is experiment with him and see if the grand scheme of democratic socialism will work on a large scale basis and with different kind of ethnic groups. So I would say that right now, the most powerful person in politics is Barack Obama. Meaning Barack Obama because he has the reins to the potential political party that might be able to, step up. He got that young bull in there, El Said, which him and Barack Obama got so much in common with us as Americans, and we tend to call these little guys Muslims and extremists and stuff like that. They're more American than most of y'all is, man. They got Harvard and Rhodes scholars in their background, you know? But Karoline Leavitt, all-American girl, is this the next face of politics for the Republicans? Is they stepping her up? Marjorie Taylor Greene gone. She with what's the young boy? Tucker Carlson. Chris, what's up? Trump left her potentially die when he swapped planes because of a threat. Is that why she quit? We get into the meat and potatoes of it. Is that why she quit on Trump? I don't think that's enough to quit because, Trump ain't the final decision maker with stuff like that. That's protocol with his security. And I don't think that's enough for her to quit. She'll throw her career down the drain when Trump doesn't even make the final call with that type of stuff. What's going on with you, fam? what's the weather like in Bali right now? It's 86 degrees, sunny here. But they say it's sunny, but you go outside and you don't see the clouds. What do young folks say? Diabolical.
To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. The 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive
wonder,
amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have this.
She got a little tongue twisted, didn't she? But what you think, Chris? Do you think she got potential? I think they got a bigger position for her. Because for real, for them, in order for them to prosper and to survive into the new millennium that we got going on, the MAGA people, I ain't talking about the poor MAGA. They're gonna probably switch over to democratic socialism, because that's what they're supposed to be having all these. And the attraction to MAGA is the subsidies and stuff. Anybody that is linked on the MAGA, that's like the poor people, for like the subsidies that they was waiting on, they're gonna probably switch over to democratic socialism, because the democratic socialists are gonna offer up so many welfare programs, so many free school lunches, so many medical, you know what I mean? But they ain't gonna have the money, but it's gonna be a bunch of that. But maybe they might have a agent now, man. Maybe they might be turning over a new leaf in MAGA. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Somebody done got there going, they got a new press agent, but we got to do it like this from now on, because that ain't working. You just never know, fam. Maybe they know something, I'm telling you. He was fired. Oh man, the person that was scouting their talent got fired. Their talent scout got fired. Damn, that's crazy. I'm telling you, they might be turning over a new leaf, because they lost Marjorie Taylor Greene. They lost Marjorie Taylor Greene, and now maybe she's the replacement, Janet Pirro. Her and Trump ain't in good standings. They might be looking for, because that's the only way they're gonna survive. That male chauvinist stuff. This ain't the climate for that male chauvinist shit. Barack and them to mess that up already. This ain't the climate, and maybe they trying to meet it in the middle. Mace, man. Mace, she was terrible. I say she was political entertainment. Her and Jasmine Crockett kept going back and forth. And no, all of them were political entertainment, man. You couldn't take them serious, because all they was doing was debating. They won't decide no laws or want nothing in the no fate of America was in their hands. They were like Jasmine Crockett and like these other politicians that's all they are in these lobbyist groups and these, you know what I mean, congressional studies and educated entertainment, man, political entertainment, and that's always the women get the blame Parrott got the blame for a crap case that Trump wanted. Okay, she got the blame for something dealing with with this shit right here. Black Money Corp, Washington D.C. The Capitol building, the Washington Monument in my background. I'm pulling on the National Mall. There's a lot of people out here. I just made the walk up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, checked out the statue, ready to get his Gettysburg Address. I think yesterday Al Sharpton was having a big rally over here for the August 28th commemorative of the Martin Luther King speech. But yeah, the National Mall. That was before they messed it up. Well, I remember when they said the government was paying $40 for an ink pen. Remember them little black ink pens with the little silver metal bands around them? Yeah, I remember they said it was paying $40 an ink pen. Well, now that's old news. That was just a distraction. That pool stuff, like that's just what happens sometimes. You know what I mean? The work ain't up to par. I'm telling you, but though, she's just not stepping down. There's a method to that madness. What's Gnomes doing right now? A lot of them, man, collateral damage to the Trump administration. And what happened was they don't bruise their image and sully their name by associating with the stuff. So that's crazy, because that's like the Nolan Wells case. It's people in jail for the Nolan Wells case, but they ain't had nothing to do with the case. It's people in jail for threatening each other and everybody but somebody that was involved actually in what happened. But yeah, that whole pool thing, yeah, that was just like some old granddaddy shit. Like that's some shit granddaddy be fucking about. Who the fuck about the pool up? Yeah. Wow. Millions of Americans are hungry. We worrying about a pool. Because we ain't heard from Gnomes yet. I forgot what job she was in. What job was Gnomes doing? That's crazy. We ain't heard from Gnomes in a minute. Like, what's Gnomes doing? Where's Gnomes? But this young lady right here, I don't think they put her out the pasture. I think they put her up in position in the corporation. Maybe they're going to give her a little bit more shine and update her on the curriculum on what's really going on. I think she might be getting a step up. She might about to become a Shriner. What does the female Eastern Star become when she advances pass her 33rd, would be the equivalent of a 33rd degree. What does the Eastern Star become? I think she might be about to get her shit early. And I'm just joking, but she might though. I don't know nothing about it, but you know, it's all seemingly like they setting us up for something to get her, because she already primed in your brain, because you see her on TV more than the president, and she can co-sign a lie, because all she do is co-sign lies. So okay. Oh yeah, they did throw her under the bus. They threw her under the bus with all that stuff, because these people at these top security levels, whether they're doing it or not, it should be top security. It should be in the Doja red 20 years from now. Not, you know what I mean? Okay. But what about this young lady right here, man? You think she gearing up to run? She already ran for Congress. I say that was got a face card that people will be interested in any of her politics. They'll do a cold run, because because it didn't take away from, okay, she lost Congress, so nah. And she also became the White House press secretary. You know what I'm saying? The 36th one of them. So that's like being somewhere in the like the king, and then it's the king, then it's his heir, and then it's the second. But right there, being the White House press secretary, somewhere she's already up in the upper echelon. She's seeing how it all go down. When they put on Donald Trump makeup to get on camera, they put her makeup on first, because she's gonna be the first at it. She knows the inside of the, of the MAGA regime. That might be your future right there. It might be the future of MAGA right here. This lady, Karoline Leavitt. And from just watching her, you see she move fluid with telling her lies too. She ain't got no problem with lying to you. No problem with lying to you. Maybe she going to get the big bucks. Maybe she going at it to get the big bucks. Who knows? She said she's going to raise her kids. We'll know it, because she about to get a podcast. You know, everybody that get out of politics, they go get a podcast. Everybody they get out of politics, and now because there's more money in it, and it's less. But this young lady right here, I think maybe she gonna either run for political office, or I want to see who y'all think gonna be who gonna take her place. I think it's gonna be a military style White House press. You know what I'm saying? Okay, because she like under 30. That's what I'm saying. That's why I see a future for her. It ain't about the money. It's about, okay, now we have a MAGA elite. She's a MAGA elite because she's been working with Donald Trump since when she was working with under that senator. She knows the inner workings of MAGA. You see what I'm saying? They tried out Erica Kirk maybe as a figurehead or something like to work her in, but this lady right here might be a fit. Yeah, 28 years old, and she already famous. She already wealthy. Looked at as a potential, you know what I mean, scion in the Donald Trump cartel. She done already broke records and all kind of stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. It's written. She was the 36th White House press secretary. Like Kamala Anthony is like the number 40-something vice president. All white dudes. This lady is the 36th. How many other women been the press secretary? I'm telling you, either she's going to go do something in her state of New Hampshire or the bigger picture. The bigger picture. 2028 coming up. Maybe she might be trying to run that Congress again in New Hampshire. Because when like I said, remember Trump had that what was that work Trump fair, whatever that was? She was there looking for where the New Hampshire people was at, looking for their stall, supporting her state. So who knows with these people, man? Because like if they are really going out of war, they're gonna keep everything in house because what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Ann Kelly is likely to pull the job. A former beauty queen. She another blonde like Trump. Right? Trump keep the women around him like he remind you of Gaddafi. Remember Gaddafi had all these women with the you know what I mean, on the veils and stuff on, armored up, geared up, ready to go to war. I mean, Trump keep the blind girls around him, man. He got a press agent. He got a hell of a I mean, publicist too, because his images, he just keep the blind women around him. Is Ann Kelly, is that the one they call Trump's diaper nurse? Is that the one, the diaper? You know what I'm saying? I say it's gonna be a military style press secretary. Because I'm telling y'all, we're not talking to the people these days. The Joint Chiefs of Staff are running the show, man. Trump ain't beefing with the Republicans or the Democrats. He shut them out. He ain't listening to them. He's closely associated with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, man. The human printer. Why you call it a human printer? Y'all can call these people some names, man. The human printer. What y'all think, man? Y'all think this lady can get in there as president, or at least vice president? Okay, wow. So that lady is his nurse? What's her background? Does she got a background in geriatrics? Taking care of old people. Yeah, he need head chef, because head chef is linked to the most important city that matters. The only city that matters to Donald Trump and MAGA right now is Pentagon City. That's the only city that matters. Of course. Well, she'll need to be there. Leavitt was supposed to probably stay back so she can give the speech on what happened. She got to do her 1-2s. So what would you think he should have had did? Took Leavitt, Headspeth, and left the human printer, or just took everybody? I say, being a good leader, everybody should have went. We don't leave nobody behind. They call her that because she always has a dozen pieces of paper telling him how good he is. She runs off to print anything he wants. Okay, so that's the one that's handing him all these crazy. So she his personal liar. She's handing him all these crazy statistics and lies and shit. Dang, that's crazy. The human printer. I can call these people some names, man. Double tap that stream, man. I think she can win though something, because Trump and them trying to clean up their image, man. Trump is getting older, and the legacy that he's trying to leave is further defilency. That's why I think they tapped this young lady right here on the shoulder to be representing for them. I'm telling you, they tapped her because she fits the mold of a successful, young, intelligent, pleasing to look at Republican and also MAGA representative. And she got accolades under her belt. She's what? Like I said, she's number 36 in the White House press secretary. She's in history no matter what. She was to go home and never spit another peep. She'll always be recognized. And she might even be villainized now with her association with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Karoline Leavitt, 2028. I said, I'm telling you, Deborah, and in this climate, the politicians are going to be unconventional from here on out, with Donald Trump just being another test study, sort of like Mamdani. Mamdani will never be the president. But what they wanted to test out was how one of these democratic socialists implement its democratic socialism. And they started with the capital of the world, the New York City, formerly known as New Amsterdam, where the United Nations is, and all other central points like the Chase Manhattan Bank and all these other places that are known all around the world as beacons, you know what I mean, in the United States. The Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, you know what I mean, where the immigrants come, I mean, give me your tired, your weary, your weak, or whatever, how it go. I ain't heard of this so long because it ain't been pushed. They more like they're pushing people out now. It's crazy. Remember, not even 30 years ago, what was it, 30, 40 years when they had the movie Flyable out, the little immigrant mouse? Now they killing all rats and I mean, getting them out of here. They ain't no immigrants, man. That's crazy. And this country is built off of that type of stuff. The culture been saturated, you know what I mean, with nationalism. I don't even remember that Iraqi information. Who was that? Maybe it was something on the plane. Maybe it was something on the plane. He had to get off the plane. Maybe it just, and they say he went out in a garbage can or something, so maybe it wasn't enough garbage cans to take out all the trash. I mean, just what it is. Who is the Iraqi information minister? I don't even remember him. Well, now is that the reason why she's stepping down? Because but I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm telling you, watch the next person. In my opinion, it's gonna be somebody that's military. Watch, it's gonna be somebody scripted by the book, and she gonna be somewhere getting ready for the political run she about to go through. Either that, or she gonna come out and tell why she got fired. What's y'all opinion? Do you think it's any way that she might have got fired, Chris? Even though it's highly unlikely, what are the chances she's being fired? I'm telling you, she might not fit the bill, the mold of what they're looking at to take the government right now. And since we at war, and Iran is talking about they're gonna extend maybe with the peace until Donald Trump is gone, because now it's a matter of it's a Trump that they are beefing with, not America. So whoever can come in and say, okay, I'm gonna stop the war, that'll be the person that can be president. If Kamala or Barack comes back around and they do some amended stuff and he's able to pick up the helm, see stuff like that, it should be people lobbying for that particular reason, so that maybe we can give Barack Obama another swing at, you know what I mean, being president. But whoever comes up behind Donald Trump on the opposite side, they're gonna have to be anti-war, and that's gonna be whoever can tell the best lie about stopping the war will be the person that wins. I'm gonna give whoever can tell that best lie that, look, I can shut him down. Because Trump came in, he had high hopes. He said he was going to flip a switch, and when he flips this switch, everybody's going to be, you know what I'm saying, energy and everything. Okay, I got you. Yeah. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real, Chris. Who is Susan Wilkes? Enlighten me on who Susan Wilkes is, man. What's her position in the corporation? I'm telling y'all, they might not be quitting. They might be getting repositioned because this is Trump and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You know what I mean? The military industrial complex. The people that they don't go into regular corporate America when they leave the military. They go into the military industrial complex corporation to get a job. They leave the military and they go to the weapons dealers, the battleship designers, the, you know what I mean, international you know what I mean, warfare, because they trained in, you know what I mean? So that's who running the country right now. Pentagon City, everybody looking at New York, DC, LA, and nobody looking at Pentagon City. Like, nobody. Everybody's too busy going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I thought Pirro was in the first jump too. Stephen Miller, I heard him give a speech yesterday about the young lady. He was talking like she about to got there gonna take over Bahrain or something. I'm like, what? So you got to look at all that. Okay. So she's sort of like Bernie Jordan. She know everybody's secrets. Why is she quitting? What's her reason being? Okay. She wanted an apprentice at one time, was she? Wow. And when her phone got hacked, what was the thing that she released? Because I still say they should have got Pete Chad's for what's that, when he was on that daggone app and his family was privy to what's going on in the military. You say, who will lose all power influence if Trump becomes a lame duck? Signal gate. That's why they're trying to prop up Paper Tiger before he has to leave. Because if they don't have somebody that they're confident that they can take over the helm after Trump, that's when he'll probably do a hostile takeover. That's when you'll probably hear Trump say, nah, I ain't going nowhere. I don't see the same people that was with him in January 6th. Okay, so she the hand. She the hand of Trump. That's, you know what I mean, like on the Game of Thrones when little dude was the hand of the king. Wow. And it's just like Chris, like everybody's been running around talking about Mom Donnie. He had me saying that shit, Mom Donnie, because I was looking at what was going on. That Mom Donnie was the kingmaker, and just brushing old Barack to the side. Barack is the kingmaker, y'all. He might be the one who decide who's the president in 2028. Even not by running, just by way of pointing his finger. And I'm seeing him, that Alciade, as Trump calls him. He seemed to take a liking to the young boy. But Karoline Leavitt, did she get fired or? I was trying to see that it wasn't any more announcements about it. If it come and go, and don't none come over, like she releases the book or some shit, she about to run. About to wrap this up though, y'all. Shout out everybody that came through. We'll be right back with another dope topic. Smash the like if you haven't already. On the way out, hype this up. Leave a comment below. Karoline Leavitt, was she fired or is she gearing up to run for 2028 along with Donald Trump Jr.? What's your opinion? It's greatly appreciated. Peace.